What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be going over 5 tips that are going to help you guys maximize your earnings when working for UberEats and Deliveroo. I personally use all of these tips as this really does help the amount of money I get from tips from customers, and it also maximizes the earnings that I get from Uber and Deliveroo as well, and knowing when the best times are to work. So I am actually online with Uber and Deliveroo today as well, so I'm going to be doing some orders with them. I am online at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, so I really don't expect it to be too busy, but I just thought, why not go out and film a video? The weather is absolutely beautiful today. That's definitely one of the perks of doing this job on a bike in the summer. I know it can be hot, but you've really got to appreciate like the opportunity to be able to just go out cycling in this nice weather. It's just, it makes you kind of happy, you know. It just makes you, it puts you in a really good mood. So the first tip that I have for you guys to maximize your earnings when working for UberEats and Deliveroo is to be more interactive with the customer. So what I mean is, when you get when you collect the order from the restaurant or the shop, it does actually come up with an option to give the customer a message. And what I like to do is, on my notes page on my phone, you can do this on either iPhone or Android, I like to just have some kind of default messages written out, so I can just go into my notes app and then copy and paste them into the Uber app. It saves a lot of time with, like, you know, writing it every single time you do an order, because you'll be spending so much time thinking of a message. So what I like to do is have them all written out already in the notes app, and you want to basically just have a message sort of saying, hiya, this is your Uber Eats driver, I've just collected the food and I'm going to be on my way to you now, and I'll be as quick as possible. So this sort of builds a relationship with the customer, so that they know that you're on your way and they've heard from you directly, and they kind of like get to know your name and stuff. It's just something that makes it a little bit more personal, and it's definitely something that I wish Deliveroo did as well, because it's a really nice feature and it definitely helps maximize getting the most tips. And what I also like to do is, once you've delivered the food to the customer and before you swiped as delivered, you want to message the customer again and just say, I hope you enjoy the food. If you feel like my delivery service was worthy enough, you can actually on Uber it gives you the option to for the customer to leave a rating for the driver. So you can just say, oh, if you feel like my delivery service is worthy enough, it would be much appreciated if you could leave a good rating, because that also helps out your satisfaction rate, and that's something that you want to keep as high as possible. So the second tip that I have for you guys to maximize your earnings when working for both UberEats and Deliveroo is to work at the peak hours. So it kind of sounds simple, but you're not guaranteed to make a lot of money if you work at the dead periods in the day. So I'd probably say between 2 and 5 o'clock in my area, and in most areas that is probably the down period in the middle of the day. It's the time when people aren't necessarily ordering food, and you're not guaranteed to make, you know, you're not really going to make a lot of money if you work those hours. But if you work between 12 and 2 for lunchtime, and then you work in the evening from 5 o'clock, and even some mornings as well can be quite busy as well. So you want to work those hours to make sure that you actually do get the amount of orders that you want, and that you can get as much money as possible. Otherwise you could just be waiting around for ages, basically. The worst thing about this job is definitely when it's quiet and you're just sort of sitting around waiting for an order to come through. You're not too sure whether you should just go home, is it worth staying out? And to work the periods where it's most busy is definitely the right thing to do. So between 12 and 2 for lunchtime, and then also from 5 o'clock, I find those times to be the most busy times, and you get more orders when working for those times. And not only do you get more orders when you're working at those times, but you also do get boosts on both Deliveroo and UberEats. So you get more on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, but even on the peak hours in the week as well, so on Monday and Tuesday and days like that in the weekdays, you do get some good boosts in the evenings. So it really depends on your location and how many drivers there are in your area. but you can get between 1.2 times boosts and all the way up to, I've even seen some areas get a 1.8 times boost, which is really good. I've never seen that in my area personally, but those boosts mean that you get more money per order. So the next tip that I have for you guys to maximize your earnings is to make sure that you're working for more than one app. So at the beginning, when I started doing deliveries, I actually only used to work for Deliveroo, and I used to make hardly any money at all, just because there was not really much demand on Deliveroo in my area. So a lot of the popular restaurants were only on Uber Eats, like McDonald's for example. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you're on the app that is most popular in your area, and that ideally you should try and get on both apps, just because when it comes to the busy periods on like a Friday or a Saturday, you want to be able to have the option to pick and choose your orders, to choose the orders that are best for you and the ones that are going to give you the most money. You don't want to be like doing orders that take you up a massive hill in your area, or you don't want to be doing the orders that sort of take you out of your area and make you have to go a really long distance. And the one thing I really would recommend, and I advise you not to do, is if you are working for both Uber Eats and Deliveroo, is to make sure you don't take multiple orders at once. So you really don't want to accept an order on Uber, go and collect that Uber order, and then also go and collect a Deliveroo order as part of the same journey, just because you can be deactivated on your account if you're caught doing this. Because I know some of the Uber and Deliveroo in particular, I think they can track your GPS, so they can see if you're going in the wrong direction to where their customer is. That also means that the customer is most likely going to be getting their food cold, and it's not going to be as hot as it would be if you weren't going and delivering another order for a different company. So if you are multi-apping, please ensure that you don't, take an order from one app and then take another order from another app in the same like order. You know what I mean. So the next tip that I have for you guys is once again only for Uber Eats drivers, because unfortunately Deliveroo just doesn't have as many features as Uber Eats. So yeah, unfortunately if you're on Deliveroo only, this one won't work for you either. But Uber Eats, they just have so many more features than Deliveroo, so there's just more ways to maximize your earnings and know when the best times are to work. But on Uber Eats, you can actually customize your profile. So when you're dropping off some food for the customer, they can actually see who the driver is. So there's like a profile picture, they can see your name, and it also gives you a few options to add some sort of personality to your profile. On Uber Eats, it does give you the option to add a message to the Why I Deliver page, so you can sort of explain why you're delivering, like if it's your job, if you're saving up for something. And adding this kind of personal message is also another way for the customer to be more, is more likely, him or her is more likely to, so basically the customer is more likely to leave a tip. So I think that's a really good feature that Deliveroo needs to add as well, because it definitely helps me when it comes to getting more tips. The final tip that I have for you guys, and this one does work on Deliveroo as well. So what you want to do is, when you first sign up and you go out for your first order, you want to find out where the most popular place is. Like, so say you want to find the area in your place that you live, or where you're delivering, and you want to find where all the most popular restaurants are. Normally they tend to be sort of like near each other, like in a shopping centre or like a business park or a retail park sort of thing. So it should be quite easy to find where where the McDonald's and the KFC are. But yeah, you want to wait and position yourself when you're waiting for orders as close to these restaurants as possible, because if you're just waiting in your house and you live in the middle of nowhere in your area, you're not going to get any orders. So the best way to get the orders and get the orders for the more popular restaurants is to be located as close as possible to those restaurants and to those shops. And it definitely helps when you're, especially in the dead periods, you don't want to be sort of roaming around an area where you're nowhere near a restaurant or you're nowhere near a shop. So you really want to position yourself as close as possible to all of the main and sort of busy restaurants and shops in your area. And yeah, that's all of the tips that I have for today's video. If you do have any other tips that you personally use, be sure to leave them down in the comments down below, and any of the tips that I see that you guys have put in the comments, I will be sure to add them to the description of this video as well, so there'll be even more tips in the description as well. So this is actually really good timing. So as I'm actually you know, filming the outro for this video, I have actually got an order for McDonald's, which is good because I haven't actually had an order in this entire time while I've been filming this video. I've just kind of been riding around the busy area in my town, and I was kind of hoping to get some orders while filming this video, but I guess it just didn't want it to be like that, did it? So of course I get an order as soon as I finish this video. Anyways guys, like I said, if you did enjoy this video and you did find this video quite useful, if you're a new driver or if you're a driver that's been driving for a few months or years and you're just looking for some extra tips or tricks on to improve how to deliver for Uber Eats and Deliveroo, it would be greatly appreciated if you could like this video and be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos than I have been over the last few months, just because I've taken a bit of time off doing Deliveroo and Uber, just because I had another job before the lockdown and I actually did start that job again. So I haven't been working on Uber Eats and Deliveroo as much as I was before the shops and restaurants reopened, but I'm back on. Basically I'm feeling like making some more videos, so be sure to subscribe and you'll be notified once I upload some more videos. But anyways, this has been Shane, thank you for watching and peace.